Well, this is just the news. I'm Faye D'Souza. Let's get straight to tonight's bulletin. Evacuation efforts continue at Kabul airport after yesterday's twin bomb attacks that killed at least 90 people and injured more than 150, according to the BBC. Hospitals in Kabul that were already struggling with fewer staff since the Taliban took over are completely overwhelmed with patients. Families are desperately trying to look for loved ones who have gone missing, including children. Meanwhile, as evacuees have begun to arrive in Germany's airbase, it has become apparent that many families have been separated from each other, with more than a dozen children turning up alone from Afghanistan. The United Nations has called those responsible for what it called a hideous assault on desperate citizens in Kabul to be caught and brought to justice. Rupert Colville, the spokesperson of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, has said, and I quote, "The deadly attacks targeting people queuing at the airport in the Afghan capital were clearly calculated to kill and maim as many people as possible. Civilians, children, women, fathers, mothers. It is an attack specifically designed to cause carnage." US President Joe Biden has vowed to go after the perpetrators of Thursday's attack. He says he's ordered the Pentagon to plan how to strike ISIS-K, the ISIS affiliate that has claimed responsibility. Speaking at the White House, he said, and I quote, "We will not forgive, we will not forget, we will hunt you down and make you pay," end quote. US troops are now on high alert in Kabul after yesterday's incident. Evacuations continue from Kabul airport, and even after the bombs, hundreds of Afghan citizens were at the airport today, desperately trying to leave the country. The Ministry of External Affairs in India today said it has evacuated most of the Indians who wanted to return from Afghanistan. Spokesperson Arindam Bagchi has said, and I quote, "The numbers keep changing. Our overall assessment is that a vast majority of Indians who wish to return have already been evacuated. Some are more likely to be in Afghanistan. We don't have the exact number for that yet. We're monitoring the situation very carefully. It is an evolving situation," end quote. Mr. Bagchi said that India has evacuated more than 550 people in 6 separate flights from Kabul and from Dushanbe. Of these, 260 were Indians. The government of India has facilitated the evacuation of Indian nationals through other agencies as well. And we are in touch with various countries like the US and Tajikistan, end quote. Focusing now on news coming in from India. Karnataka's Director General of Police, Praveen Sood, will supervise the investigation into the gang rape of the student in Mysore. The state's Home Minister, remember, came under fire yesterday for blaming the survivor for the rape, saying she and her friend should not have gone to that deserted area. Responding to that, the Chief Minister today said, and I quote, "I do not agree with the comments made by my Home Minister regarding the gang rape incident. I have advised him to issue a clarification," end quote. At 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, a young woman and her friend had gone to the Chamundi Hills outside of Mysore, a popular tourist spot and a much-visited temple. The young woman was allegedly gang raped by several men while her companion was beaten up. No arrests have been made so far. In Punjab, Navjot Singh Sidhu has warned that there would be disastrous consequences for his own party if he is not given freedom to make decisions. Sidhu, who was recently appointed the party chief in Punjab after a tense compromise with the state's chief minister, Captain Amrinder Singh, has said, and I quote, "I have asked the High Command to allow me to make decisions. I will ensure the Congress prospers in the state over the next 2 decades. Nahi to eat se eat baja do." When asked to comment on Mr. Sidhu's statement yesterday, Congress's Punjab in charge, Harish Rawat, reacted cautiously and said that I cannot question him on the basis of media speculation. I will see the context of the statement. He is, after all, the party chief. Who else can make decisions? Now, going into the Punjab elections early next year, it does seem like the Congress is having a lot of trouble simply keeping its house in order. The Allahabad High Court has quashed criminal proceedings against Dr. Kafil Khan over his speech in Aligarh Muslim University during the CAA protests in December 2019. The single judge bench of Justice Gautam Chaudhary set aside all charges and cognizance order passed against the doctor, noting that the requisite sanctions had not been taken by the district magistrate from the union and state governments. Now, the FIR was registered against him in December 2019 after he had made a speech in Aligarh University. Now, the FIR said basically that his speech disrupted the harmony between communities and is likely to create a law and order situation. He was then, Dr. Kafil Khan was arrested in Mumbai on the 29th of January, and he was in jail for 8 months on this charge. He was arrested by the Uttar Pradesh Special Task Force. He was then released in September. And now the charges have been dropped against him. The Uttar Pradesh government, remember, also invoked the National Security Act against him when he had been in the middle of that entire oxygen crisis in Gorakhpur Hospital when many babies had died. 5 people have been killed in Assam's Dima Hasao district after militants, allegedly from the Dimasa National Liberation Army, attacked their trucks and set them ablaze on Thursday night. The superintendent of police of the Hasao district said, and I quote, "We have recovered 5 charred bodies. They're mostly truck drivers and handymen. Identification is still going on." The DNLA was formed in 2019. It seeks to form a sovereign independent nation of the Dimasa tribe, one of the earliest inhabitants and rulers of the Brahmaputra Valley of Assam. On to a COVID update right now. India reported 44,658 new cases over the last 24 hours and 496 deaths. Now, our positivity rate still remains less than 3%. There is, of course, worrying numbers coming out of Kerala that has reported more than 30,000 cases for 3 days straight. Now, remember, most experts are saying this is because of the Onam festivities in the state. State of Kerala reported 32,801 new COVID cases. In the meantime, the Kerala government has defended its handling of COVID and said that no one has died in the state due to the lack of oxygen. Writing in a magazine called the Chinta, the chief minister of the state has said, and I quote, "There are some unnecessary controversies surrounding the second wave. Some sections are trying to create fear among people by portraying high numbers during the second wave as a cause for concern." The central government, in the meantime, has asked the states of Maharashtra and Kerala to consider night curfews in areas where COVID numbers are high. The Secretary Ajay Bhalla yesterday reviewed the measures by state governments to contain COVID. And the Ministry of Home Affairs in a statement said that this would require adequate intervention in geographical areas where there is higher infection, and measures of contact tracing, vaccination drives and appropriate behavior needs to be taken. Remember, Kerala has accounted for 60% of the cases that have been reported in the country for over a week now. Meanwhile, Maharashtra has reported 5,108 new cases on Thursday. This is particularly worrying also because, like I said, experts are attributing Kerala's spike to the festival of Onam, and we are going into a series of festivals starting now, including Janmashtami, which is on Monday, which is what is causing concern that if there are pockets where there are high numbers, there should be night curfews. At least this is the advice coming in from the central government right now. The Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia announced on Twitter that 50% of the entire adult eligible population has been vaccinated with at least 1 dose across the country. According to the latest statistics, India completed administering 47.29 crore doses yesterday altogether, and that is 50.3% of the entire adult population. In an affidavit before the Kerala High Court, the central government has said that the prescribed 84 days between doses of Covishield vaccine was decided based on a technical opinion recommended by the National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration for better protection against the virus. Earlier this week, the court had asked for a response from the central government regarding this 84 days gap between the 2 doses of the vaccine. The Kerala High Court in a previous hearing had asked if the gap was necessary because of the efficacy of the vaccine or because of non-availability or shortage of vaccines in the country. The court is hearing a petition filed by Kochi-based Kitex Garments that requested the government to shorten that gap so that it can vaccinate its employees. Remember, like I keep telling you, Cyrus Poonawalla, who is the chairperson of the Serum Institute of India that manufactures this vaccine, made a statement publicly saying that the gap between the two doses was because of a shortage and not because of medical recommendations. A quick look at news coming in from the world of business and economy. Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, has urged automakers to discourage the production and sale of diesel cars and promote other technology. In a conference on Wednesday, Mr. Gadkari said, and I quote, "I appeal to vehicle manufacturers to discourage the production and sale of diesel engines. Diesel-based pollution is extremely hazardous to the environment and to human health, and the industry must promote alternatives to fuel technologies and fund R&D for alternative fuels." Quick look at news coming in from across the world right now. US Capitol police officers who were attacked and beaten during the Capitol riot filed a lawsuit against former US President Donald Trump and his allies. The police have accused Trump of intentionally sending a violent mob to the Capitol building on the 6th of January to disrupt the congressional certificate of the election. Remember, on the 6th of January, there was a riot at the United States Capitol building in Washington, D.C. The rioters occupied, vandalized the building for several hours, and 5 people died in that incident. Well, here's an interesting update from the world of sports. According to the BBC, although there are some people, I must tell you, who still say this is speculation, according to the BBC, Manchester United is in advanced talks to sign Portugal captain Cristiano Ronaldo, who plans to leave Juventus. Juventus boss Massimo Allegri confirmed that Ronaldo said he no longer has any intention of playing for the Italian giants. Meanwhile, the Manchester United boss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said Ronaldo knows that we are here during a press conference on Friday. Also, according to BBC, the move to Manchester City might not happen for the 36-year-old. And a piece of positive news before we leave you for the day. An oxygen concentrator designed and developed by the researchers of the Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru was launched on Thursday. It delivers apparently 93 to 95% pure oxygen concentration at 10 liters per minute within 3 minutes. The clinical trials have been completed and the system is found to perform on par with compressed oxygen cylinders. This will go a long way in meeting the requirement for oxygen in hospitals across the country, and that is in fact good news. Well, that's where we're going to leave it for you today. We're adding another bulletin because we've received so many messages from you guys saying that there's too much of a gap on Saturday and Sunday, so we'll put out a bulletin on Saturday as well. Do enjoy your weekend. I'll leave you with the quiz to find out if you were paying attention. The Health Ministry has said a certain percentage of our entire adult population has received at least one dose of vaccine. What is that percentage? What percentage of India's adult eligible population has received at least one dose of the vaccine? Leave the answer in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.